Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. I'm Drew Dinkmeyer here with Mike Gallagher to walk you through tonight's 7-game slate. Mike, how are you on this fine Monday? I see you have the Homer Bushes up, which I have no idea what the reference is for since I've been gone. But how are you?
Yeah, Anthony Davis, bad flag plant. When OG
Yeah.
just completely clamped him. I had some bad flag plants, so I felt this was fitting today. But welcome back.
Thank
I
you.
had a pretty good day yesterday. I kind of hung out with my my friends' kids for a lot and did a lot of voices. You'll be glad to know. I kept saying num 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 to them all the time when they were
Nice,
eating, and they were
nice,
cracking up. So
nice, nice.
shout out to you. Yeah, pretty fun day. I got a little sun yesterday, but watching some games now that I missed yesterday. But how was your trip?
Nice. Anytime you get sick in a foreign country and have to leave early and miss a wedding is not a great
Ooh.
experience. But yeah, I enjoyed Peru until I got the flu and then took a red eye home, and it was a very, very painful red eye. Still recovering. Going to try to manage energy. But yeah, I enjoyed Lima. Would love to go back at some point and experience it fully healthy. And I'm glad to be back in my home, in my bed, resting and here with you all for the content that I can get out there and manage the energy. Let's get into the injuries for this slate. Let's start with Indy and Detroit. Two teams that we expected at this point in the season coming into the year to be sort of in the tanking consideration. Indy's been way better than expected during the course of the year and hung around. So they've been on, the outskirts of the play-in conversation, but you look at the injury report tonight and it looks more like what we would have expected coming into the season. So let's start with the Indy side. Buddy Hield questionable, Miles Turner out, Benedict Mathurin out, TJ McConnell out, Tyrese Halliburton out. What's your expectation for what we see from the Pacers tonight?
Should be mostly a running back situation. If Beal goes, we'll talk about what that means if he doesn't go. But yeah, Carolina ruled him out post game on Saturday, and he said we'll see on the next game. So not great. They said they're going to try to play younger guys, with the exception of George Hill getting minutes and James Johnson getting minutes. But would expect their two centers again to be Isaiah Jackson and Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith's been playing better. Had a big game against Detroit, same matchup here. So those guys are certainly in play. Andrew Nemhard actually was able to score the ball over the weekend. Had a pretty good game. He'll have big ball handling responsibilities. Had 7 minutes of touch time. We've seen him without TJ McConnell now. Really, he's 3 for 3. Obviously excluding Halliburton too. But yeah, he's been playing well. Obviously, more usage would go his way if Buddy Hield's out. Same with Chris Duarte. I think they'd probably go to George Hill. We've seen George Hill start in certain spots. I think they like him there. I think they like Nawara, or Nascore, as I like to call him, off the bench. He would obviously see huge usage role and just a really, really good matchup. Aaron Nesmith probably doesn't move the needle too much. Duarte would pick up more ball handling as well. So, yeah, if Buddy Hield's out and they really try to tank this thing, it could be pretty attractive for how to attack this.
On the Detroit side of things, it's just a bunch of outs. Out for Marvin Bagley, Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec Burks, Cade Cunningham, Hamidou Diallo, Jaden Ivey, and Isaiah Stewart. So take us through who is left here and what we can expect to see tonight.
Yeah, Bagley tweaked his ankle over the weekend. He's probably missing this game, or missing multiple games, according to some reporting over there. So I think it's going to be fresh off a second 10-day. Eugene Omoyuri, former Thunder great, probably starting. Picked up a lot of minutes down the stretch. We had an RJ Hampton under. Oops, my TV just turned back on. We had an RJ Hampton under, and I was praying they wouldn't close small, and they didn't. So I think Eugene Omoyuri gets the start again. Possibly more minutes for RJ and those guys. We'll see if we run, double big. I don't think they would go that way, but they might if they run, a Weissman and Durant. And Weissman's been playing pretty well. We talked about this kind of this point last week that the Weissman best balls are like running pure right now, along with some other guys. But should be a pretty big role for Killian Hayes again. Rodney Magruder and RJ Hampton played actually a bunch in the first half. I think he played like 14 first half minutes. So I thought our under was going to get cooked, but we were good. So mostly sums up. This is a tanktastic. And just a side note, man, I was listening to Chris Haynes on his podcast with Mark Stein, and he said Damian Lillard wanted to play, but he was, quote, urged to sit. It is urged to sit season for a lot of these bad teams. So, Yeah, be around your computer. You never know when guys are going to get ruled out. You can get some nice CLV. Don't do it for Miami. But yeah, it's the time of year where you could really make some hay if you're really locked in on your phone and on your books and stuff.
All right, let's move to the questionable tags tonight. Rudy Gobert and Austin Rivers listed questionable for Minnesota. I know you were doing some starters jersey hunting earlier in the day for this one. What are your thoughts on the availability for Rudy Gobert and Austin Rivers tonight?
Yeah, not ready to put starters jersey undefeated on the line here, which is pretty close to undefeated. But anyways, Naz Reid did not have a starters jersey on, so I didn't see if Gobert was in there. So Gobert tweaked his ankle over the weekend, seemed pretty minor. Finch didn't have any comments about it. Gobert's been playing great lately, so should be. I expect him to go. Obviously, Minnesota playing for a lot right now against a tough team in the Hawks, toughish, I should say. Good matchup, still big rim funnel as well. So expecting Gobert to go and Nas backing him up.
Any thoughts on Austin Rivers and how his availability would impact anything?
Oh no, just a little bit more ceiling for Taurean Prince. They want a little bit more on ball D. We've seen Prince, maybe touch mid-20s a little bit more often. A little bit more to Nikhil Alexander Walker floor. He's kind of run away with his backup point guard role.
Okay, let's move to Atlanta on the other side of this game. Bogdan Bogdanovic listed questionable here. Any thoughts on his availability for tonight?
I think he's going to play. We saw him miss the last game, but I think that was back-to-back related. We saw them actually close small here. They went with John Collins as the center and put Sadiq Bey in. I think this is because they were trailing. Quinn Snyder said it kind of, quote, made sense to him to go small. So, yeah, just something to note. Definitely helps Sadiq Bey. We saw before this game, they had, over the previous 4 games, there was 15 minutes of overlap for John Collins and Sadiq Bey. This is not counting the last game when Bogdan was out. A little bit more overlap there. But, yeah, just something to note there. But I think he'll go. Obviously, that boosts up the floor for DeJounte, Trey. DeAndre Hunter played a ton over the weekend as well, so he would be also benefiting.
Okay, let's move to Utah, where Jordan Clarkson is questionable with a thumb issue. What are your thoughts on his availability tonight?
Yeah, playing through this pain thing, we talked about it. It's on his pad. Played through pain, had that career high assist game. He's been kind of out since. So, expect him to be game time, pain management. But he's been ruled out early, so definitely could see him sitting again because I don't think this thing's going away. Obviously, the main beneficiary is holy Taylor Horton Tucker. Just a magnificent game against the Hornets. Goes 37, 8, and 10. I think he had like a 10-0 run by himself in like multiple stretches. Just a arguably the best game of his career. So he benefits in a big way. Ochai Agbaji would get the start. Played a bunch, got a lot of shots up early, 34 minutes. He's kind of run bad with minutes with fouls and stuff. So he would certainly pick up a lot of playing time again. But yeah, we'll see. Definitely going to be something to watch for Clarkson. Wonder if, maybe some unders are good if he's playing since it's his shooting thumb.
Interesting that no overlap for Taylor Horton Tucker and Chris Dunn last game without Jordan Clarkson. Would that be your expectation again, or do you think that was a one-off with how Horton Tucker was playing?
I think they'll have a little bit. Definitely matchup dependent. I think there'd be a little bit more. I think you need a little bit more depth of on-ball D there. So, you want to have Jimmy and Hero covered. So I think he's a little bit more likely to pick up some overlap.
Okay. On the Heat side of things, Kyle Lowry questionable, Caleb Martin questionable as well. Any read here on the Heat questionable tags?
Yeah. Caleb got ruled out early last time, so I think he's got a chance to miss. I think this is just Miami Heat shenanigans with Lowry, but you never know. I mean, he was out for such a long time with the knee, but picked up a pretty good bit of playing time. Like, shockingly, played 36 minutes off the bench, got a decent amount of overlap with Gabe Vincent. We saw Oladipo run heavy in the first. I think he had 15 first half minutes, picks up 9 in the second half, played terrible. I missed everything. So we'll see how that affects. But yeah, I expect Lowry to go. Probably just say, hey, we played you a lot of minutes. How's your knee feeling? Let's put you questionable kind of a situation.
Yeah, interesting box score there. It looks like Tyler Hero got cut down more than you would anticipate. Struce and Vincent still playing upper 30s there. Kevin Love way cut down. And it seems like they played smaller on the whole. They're without Cody Zeller. They're working back Omer Yurtseven. Would you expect against Utah especially in that second unit? It seems like you could get away with playing a little bit smaller as well.
Should mention Zeller hurt his nose, so that explains the little minutes there. But yeah, I think it would be Yeah, I think they play smaller. I mean, I talk about this all the time. Like Lowry guards fours all the time. We see him guard Tobias Harris in the playoffs, like without fail. So I think that it's kind of weird that adding Lowry affects Kevin Love a lot,
Yeah.
just for how they structure their defense overall. So yeah, I think that it's way more likely they do go smaller. Certainly matchup you don't want to do that. And should note too, since I'm not doing the DFS show later for a change. We talk a lot about Utah rim funnel defense. Their rim defense has been really good lately. They've been like top 5 or 6 over the last handful of games. Obviously, Miami is the best rim defense in the league. So yeah, just as Chris Lafficus would say, kind of a paradigm shift on how we may want to approach this Jazz defense. Walker Kessler is the real freaking deal. He won't win Roy, but I mean, the advanced stats nerds might give him the Roy because he's been just freaking good.
Yeah.
Powell's been Powell's coming on too. He had almost had a triple double over the weekend.
Yeah. All right, let's move to Dallas, where Luka is ruled out again. Kyrie Irving questionable here. We saw the Mavs play competitively without the two over the weekend. Any read on Kyrie's availability tonight?
So I was listening to, like I mentioned, Chris Haynes and Mark Stein. Mark Stein, who's pretty plugged in on the Mavs, he had some doubts on Kyrie. Just the way he was phrasing his likelihood of being available put me a little bit on the doubtful side. Got rolled out pretty early, so I don't think this thing's going away. So I think Jaden Hardy, who led the team in ball handling, didn't really put up big assist stats, but he had the ball and he could score. Pretty big volume overall. Matchup, we just saw this matchup over the weekend. A lot of rematches today. Just to note that. But yeah, so he picked up a ton of minutes. We were showing some unders on him. I was like, no. I think they're going to play him a ton. So yeah, I think he's going to play a bunch. He fits the role they need. Ball handling really badly. So yeah, he would play a ton. And just note, Christian Wood, no Kyrie, no Luka, 15 minutes. Jason Kidd said after the game that they're going to play Maxi Kleber over him, basically. So I actually cut Christian Wood in one of my season-long leagues. I'm in the playoffs, and I needed games yesterday. So he's down quite bad.
Yeah, really, really surprising. I thought that acquisition this summer made a lot of sense when they traded a late first for him, but it has not worked out at all. Warriors, you have in the notes, Draymond had an ankle tweak over the weekend. Jonathan Kuminga listed questionable here. Andrew Wiggins still away from the team. What are your thoughts on the Warriors tonight?
My first thought is shout out to Steph. Hitting a Steph over is the ultimate, and I thought we were so dead on this over. He had like 15 or 16 points, rebounds, and hits like 40 thanks to nuclear close in the fourth. But to answer your question, so Jonathan Kuminga ditched the walking boot. We saw him pull up Kevin Durant with a ankle roll in warmups. Sounds like he's got a chance to play. I would still put him on a little bit on the doubtful side. Should also note that Anthony Lamb's two-way days are up, so he can't play today unless they convert his contract. So they'd have to do some contract stuff with Lester Quijones and get rid of him and all that stuff. So they could if they wanted to, but they're playing Iguodala instead. Ty Jerome also should note he only has 3 days left, or 3 games left, I should say, for his two-way day. So that's another thing that could squeeze this rotation as well. Draymond should be good to go, and then just keep an eye on Kuminga. Expect him to probably be game time.
All right. Giannis Antetokounmpo questionable hand issue. Has missed all the games last week. Very frustrating for those of us in the best ball streets. Any read on Giannis's availability tonight?
Yeah, so we've seen this Q tag. He actually had a Theragun for most of this game. And he was like, massaging his hand a bunch. The cameras kept showing him. I thought that was amusing. So yeah, probably gonna be game time. Definitely a chance he misses. Obviously, Bobby Portis will play a bunch. We luckily hit an under on him over the weekend. That was nice. And it was #playable season as well for an alternate line. But yeah, he'll play a pretty good bit. A little bit more ball handling role for Javon Carter. We see him step up and play some the non-Drew minutes plus some overlap as well. Jingles, big minutes, really picked up a ton late. Additional ball handling. He's been kind of the low-key beneficiary on top of the obvious Porter stuff. Brook Lopez is scoring a lot lately. He's benefited. Middleton's minute stealing is gone. We saw him manage a little bit in overtime. There was actually a long whistle in the overtime frame. So those 34 minutes may have been like 35 and a half-ish. So his minutes looks like they're good. We talked about the 30-minute plateau for him. So it looks like he's almost full. And then Drew just he's playing great as well. So all these guys would benefit. But don't have an overall read on Giannis tonight for the late game against the Beam team and their 40 wins. Shout out to those guys at Summer League who called 40 wins this season.
Yeah, not myself. Let's move to the Grizzlies, where Jake LaRavia is out for the Grizzlies. They're still without John Morant, obviously Steven Adams as well. Any other notes you want to leave on the Grizzlies?
Yeah, the only note, and this is somewhat big for us true basketball nerds, rotation nerds, minutes nerds. Taylor Jenkins is going 9. It's a new day in the rap game. So he said he's going to go with 9 going forward. Big David Roddy game. David Roddy to the rescue. I mean, if David Roddy doesn't go off, this team loses to a gutted Mavericks team. So expect Roddy to get a little bit earlier rotation. Certainly, we talk about this all the time. Going from 9 to 10 adds such a better minutes floor and ceiling to starters. We're seeing bunch minutes out of Desmond Bane, Tyus, Dylan even playing a bunch. Xavier Tillman, kind of the last true big standing. They're running a little bit smaller as well with some Jaren Jackson, Santi Aldama overlap. So, yeah, we like this. We like this 9-man. Expect the rotation to stay the same. I think if LaRavia was available, he wouldn't even play.
Okay. And then on the probable notes, Alperen Sengun listed probable with a growing issue. Any other notes you wanted to leave on the Rockets?
No, I think it should be good to go. Again, as I mentioned a little bit ago, probable tags, man. Don't treat them like probable tags anymore. They're questionable tags. And if you're looking to bet, sometimes the books are lining them as probable tags. Could be some really good value there if you're ready to hit stuff. We obviously won't do this on our official props, but you guys out there, we'll let you bet your own stuff as well. But yeah, should be good. Should note Jabari Smith's hot. He's been playing his best ball of the season, starting to put the ball on the floor a little bit more, even with Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green returning overall. So Sengun, if this probable tag turns out to be bogus, which it might be, that kind of helps Jabari. We've seen a little bit more center minutes. That would certainly be the case here too. So yeah, keep an eye on it. Expecting him to play, but never take those probable tags for granted.
All right. That'll do it for us on the Established Run NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. As always, please support the people who are supporting us. This show is brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy. They have daily NBA snake drafts for money running in addition to many formats of NFL contests for the 2023-2024 NFL season, as well as the dance and playoff contests for the NBA season. If you're playing NBA Pick'em, in-season subscribers can use our tool to compare ETR projections to their fantasy Pick'em games. If you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, use promo code ETR for a matching deposit bonus up to $100. That's promo code ETR at underdogfantasy.com. All right. Myself and Gary Hartman will be behind the paywall at 5 o'clock Eastern time tonight with Mike Gallagher warming in the bullpen if I need to call on him. Join us there as we walk through all the ins and outs of this DFS slate in terms of good chalk, bad chalk, contrarian leverage plays for tournaments, groups and rules to consider for optimizers or hand building, and of course the flag plan. So join us then behind the paywall at 5 o'clock Eastern today. If you are uninterested in giving us your hard-earned dollars, we do ask for your hard-earned clicks. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, get notifications whenever we go live, and of course, smash that like button and help feed the algorithm. As we say, you feed the algorithm, it helps us feed our families, and we'll feed you the good DFS injury analysis information you need to make your DFS lineups, your prop bets, your spread bets, so on and so forth. So feed that algo, smash that like button. Nom, 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 nom. We'll see you tomorrow.